Well, Texas head coach Rodney Terry has put Texas fans in a position where I don't even think they can defend him. And I don't think they can defend themselves being the laughingstock of the entire sports world right now. Welcome into the channel. I am John Kurtz. Here on this channel, we talk college football, college basketball, and conference realignment, all from a Big 12 angle. Please consider subscribing if you have not subscribed. Live shows Wednesdays and Sundays, they are a blast. So make sure you're here for those. Click the bell so you know when it is I'm going live. Please like the video and leave a comment underneath. You love Rodney Terry, hate Rodney Terry. I'm assuming most of you will hate Rodney Terry by the end of this video and what he did after losing to UCF, but let me know in the comments. And if you are so inclined, you can support the channel on Venmo at John-Kurtz-4. Okay, Texas blew a double-digit lead at home against UCF in a game that they really controlled for a while, jumped out to a big lead in the first half. This Texas team has had all sorts of problems this year. Right now, they would be on the wrong side of the bubble. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And unfortunately, for the Longhorns, that's not great considering they went to the Elite Eight last year and just gave Rodney Terry the job after he was the interim coach after the Chris Beard fiasco last year. They just lost to go to 1-3 in the Big 12. They've got a hellish 5-game stretch coming up. It's not looking good right now for the Horns, and it's been compounded and made much worse by what Rodney Terry did after the game. So I'm going to take you through this. We're going to walk you through everything if you haven't seen it through the help of Twitter. But here we go. We're going to start with what happened with UCF's players after the game. So UCF wins the game. They go win in Austin. And here comes UCF's players throwing the good old horns down, right? We've seen it before. We'll see it again. Lots of people do it. The horns down. There is that. That is part one of all of this. Then we move on to Rodney Terry being very upset after the game, okay? So Rodney Terry, Texas coach. I'm coach who's going to call everybody else classless here. I have to leave this tab muted on purpose because I do not want the words spewing out here that Rodney Terry starts saying. But he's jawing with the players here, telling them how classless what they just did is. And you can see the players' reaction. They're kind of like, what are you doing, man? Like, but Rodney Terry is barking the entire way down the line at these players about being classless for throwing the horns down, which is pretty wild. Okay, now stick with me here. Stick with me. Now we're going to come to the post-game press conference. This time I will have the audio turned up because you got to hear what Rodney Terry says. You can already look at this and see where this is going and how it's getting just crushed by everybody across the sports world, but especially now after you listen to what Rodney Terry said about the horns down, you will think that.
You know, I'm a big believer in, you know, you win the right way, you lose the right way. And, you know, I always tell my guys, you know, whether you win or lose, you win the right way. You lose the right way. You carry yourself the right way. You don't go through the handshake line or proud to get into the handshake line and have about 6 or 7 guys putting the horns down. We don't do that, you know, because when you do those kind of things, it looks very classless, and it also looks like you were just hoping to win. We never go into games trying to hope to win. We go into games expecting to win. So we don't act.
I'm going to stop it right there and say, Rodney, your team is going into games right now not expecting to win because they're not winning. They're not winning. Texas does not really have a good win on the entire resume this year. It's been a rough year for Texas. UCF has already beaten Kansas and now won at the Moody Center to beat Texas. UCF is the team that should be going into games expecting to win, not your squad right now.
Act like that. You know, we expect to win. We don't jump up and down like we won a national championship. We sure don't step on anyone's home court deal and act crazy and try to show them up in any way. We don't do that. You know, so that's what I was angry about. And I was letting those guys know you don't do that. You know, you guys won. Hey, we shake your hand, tip our hat to you, but we're not going to let you act that way in our building. You're not going to do that. You're not going to put your horns down and do all that nonsense.
Well, there are a million ways I could respond to this, but I'm going to start by showing you this. Shout out to Jason Anderson from Sports Radio 810 in Kansas City. I didn't even really remember this, but I do now that he brings it up. This is from the game in Manhattan last year. Texas wins 69-66. Ish Massoud misses a 3 at the buzzer. And look over in the corner here by the sideline on the far part of that image, upper right corner. Tyrese Hunter is throwing the horns up to the K-State student section, just throwing it right in their faces. There were multiple other Texas players doing that after that game. Rodney Terry himself was very animated throughout that game. So it took a very short amount of time for someone to find an example of Texas players throwing the horns up. Like, That's what they do. That's what kids do. It's what are we doing acting like this is a classless thing? And by the way, I agree with the take that I've seen from so many here lately. Like classless is basically just like an auto flag for like whatever you're about to say is lame. Whatever you're about to say is very, very lame if you're going to start calling other people classless. I mean, this is bad. I have not seen a single person defend this on social media. That never happens. Texas fans don't even like this. Texas fans have long been fighting a battle saying that they don't care about horns down and it's not that big of a deal. But yet here we have this. We had Sam Ehlinger back in 2018 with his rant on Twitter about, hey, I remember everybody that does horns down. Like that's being noted. This has set that motion back, that movement rather back a long ways. Rodney Terry doing this, the movement that nobody really cares at Texas about horns down. This is not good for that at all. And it just comes across even beyond the ridiculousness of like, what does this hand gesture really mean? And I guess YouTube will probably flag me now for this video. You know, how bad is the actual hand gesture itself? It's just like that comes across like such a losery thing to be thinking about at the end of the game. If it's not like something that's putting a player of yours like in jeopardy or something completely egregious, why are you as an opposing coach worried about that? It's crazy, man. Crazy to me. It shows that you're worried about the wrong things and honestly that you're in over your head. I mean, this is not good for Rodney Terry in maintaining this job. I thought it was a cool story that he got the gig last year after being the interim guy, but I don't know. This certainly combined with how they're playing on the floor feels like this is not going to be a marriage that lasts longer than this year. We'll see how it goes, but it's definitely not trending that way right now. He's got time to get it turned around and a lot of quad one games coming up because he plays in the Big 12. But if this doesn't just reek of a guy that feels like he's in over his head and perhaps is upset by just losing that game at home and all of his bosses and everybody having to see UCF running around throwing horns down and that being an image burned in their brain that they hate, I mean, that's about all I can come up with as far as like where his logic goes on this. That's just such an out-of-pocket move in general to go be like coaching the other team like that, you know, stealing the spotlight from Nate Oates, by the way, at Alabama, who shoved a Missouri player in a game last night too. Or maybe that was just this week. Maybe it was the night before. This week anyway. You had Nate Oates shoving a Missouri player in a little scuffle and an altercation that they had, and the spotlight has been completely stolen by Rodney Terry here. That's the thing. Like Texas basketball is in a rough enough spot, but this is drawing so much more attention to how poorly they've been playing this season because now everybody in the sports world is talking about this. I mean, anecdotally, I go to work at my day job and I've got people that care about professional sports, but certainly not college sports that I would never in a million years expect them to be asking me about something with Texas. And yet they were. Here they were at work. Like this, it's all over the place. It's very bad for Texas. It's going to increase the frustrations of Texas fans who are already having to watch you play crappy basketball and embarrass yourself, just puke all over yourself at home. They've already lost at home to Texas Tech, who they definitely hate. Like it's, I don't know. It feels like this almost has to be a rock bottom for Rodney Terry. But maybe there's worse to come with playing 5 straight ranked teams, 3 of which are on the road, because that's what's coming up next for Texas. So not a good look for Rodney Terry, not a good look for Texas, not a good look for the fan base, even though I know they have no control over this. But I do have to give it to Gambling Gauchos. My guys at the Gambling Gauchos had a pretty good tweet saying like Rodney Terry being overly aggressive, but yet incredibly soft at the same time in a losing effort, by the way, in an underachieving effort, means that he is really the perfect coach for this fan base and the perfect coach to embody what their fan base is. That's pretty true. That's pretty true. I know Texas fans don't really like what Rodney Terry's doing, but you got to admit that's a pretty good comp there to what the stereotype of Texas fans would be. Underachieving, aggressive, but yet soft at the same time in what the actual tone of the message is. Not good, Texas. Good luck handling the SEC when you head into SEC country. And there's going to be a lot of horns down. And also, by the way, Rodney Terry, I mean, we didn't even get into this angle on the video. The more that you do this and whine about it and cry about it now, the more you're going to see it the rest of the year. I mean, you're going to get so many more of these bad boys on the road the rest of the year. And I will certainly laugh. Rodney Terry brought it on to himself. All right, make sure you get subscribed. Live shows Wednesdays and Sundays. They are a blast. You do not want to miss those. Please like the video if you could. Let me know what you think of Rodney Terry here in the video. Are you on board? Is there someone who will dare to defend him in the YouTube comments? Let's find out. All that stuff really helps. John-Kurtz-4 on Venmo if you would like to support the channel there as well. Take care, and I will talk to you soon.